the 2022 Times Higher Education Rankings, Professor Bamiro has quite some rich data on this investment and all of that kind of thing, and he keeps giving us examples of poor investment, gives us the investment in Harvard, the endowment, the volume of money that they have, and all that. So I'm just taking it from there, but from another dimension, because I had to take the 10 universities in that Times Higher Education, including Harvard, MIT, Cambridge, Oxford, all of them. If you add up the investment, you will find that that investment is equivalent to at least 20 times the investment in Nigeria's 200 plus universities. So it means you need to know what it means. Not so. Okay. I said earlier, the maxim, more money or more investment, more value, holds largely true in an environment where corruption does not thrive. Sadly, such environment is globally pervasive. No country is exempt. Don't let them deceive you to say it's only in Nigeria corruption. Corruption is everywhere. Everywhere. However, it is more so in poverty-stricken Africa with money-hungry leaders. I was coming from Australia on a mission. I got to Dubai, flying Emirates, and the man asked me, where are you heading? I said, I'm going to Lagos, Nigeria. Oh, how is the country? I never said, I said, oh, great country. He said, oh, no, I don't, he doesn't think so. I said, that's your headache. He said, come. How is it that almost half, I know it was exaggerated, almost half of the houses in Dubai have been bought by Nigerians? Civil servants, legislature, all of them. Almost half. Then shortly before, I was also on my way to Heathrow. There was somebody a Brit who knows what he should know, because it's the Secret Service. The money that Nigerians have imposed, he didn't use the word stolen, but he meant it as stolen in London alone. If they bring it back to Nigeria, it will sink. If Nigeria to be a ship, it will sink it. So, money leaders, in such an environment, more money to education, more often than not, translates to more job for some people. We're not trying to shine our eyes on this Elizabeth University with regard to the cap fitting metaphor. How does the cap fit Elizabeth University? Through its teaching, research, and community service activities. In its full corner in Aramoke, Elizabeth University, as documented in its 2019 report to NUC, is impacting national development directly and indirectly. When I got to this place, Professor Oluwadare Attah, put a week to see what through his teaching, research, and community service activities. I provided a table here which summarizes all. You're going to get this paper as soon as we finish. So I'm quite impressed. Chairman of Council, members of Council, Board of Trustees, about what Elizabeth University is doing. You don't saw me do this. There is some advice I'd like to give to Elizabeth University in gatherings like this. You see, if you went to a gathering, academic gathering in Europe, North America, Asia, when somebody if you recognize somebody, say you call on the chairman or vice chancellor, he gives the address. The applause, ladies and gentlemen, is spontaneous. You don't force applause. It's in the marriage ceremonies or all these other things. Give them another applause. Hey, I beg you, don't let me come here and have you do that. It's an academic gathering. You don't say, probably will say another. This applause is too small for him. Give another applause. That one roadside.
I'm going to be citing this as a model university. So I beg you in the name of God, when you have an event like this, let's treat it like a solid academic event. Professor Niyakin Aso, is that done in Temple University? No. Applause should be spontaneous. You don't force applause. Yeah, but I want to force applause on this one now. Now let's examine. I will. You will get all the details in the booklet that will come, because we got to. You cannot say everything in one day. So let's examine the degree of fit. This is actually the kernel, the heart of the matter. Let's examine the degree of fit of Nigeria's sectoral development with the contributions of the Nigerian university system. Since Nigeria's first university opened its doors in 1948, and about 15 years or so ago, led by Professor Olufemi Bamiro, how has the system, which has evolved to 202 universities, I could hear some people say 170 something, 180 something, in a lie. The number as of today, 16 September 2021, as released to me by our bosses there, is 202. 202 universities. What have we contributed to national development? Now, on one side of the spectrum of opinion, has the system been weak and worthless? Nigeria University is weak and worthless in its contribution and impact. On the other end of the spectrum, has the system been exceptionally impactful? What are the in-between opinions on the matter, which typically have been based on conjectures? You just see some people, armchair journalists, they just sit down, just talk rubbish. They just say useless university, this thing and all of that. Conjectural. No data to support or refute what they are asserting. In this part of the lecture, I will make some attempts at providing an empirical basis for my conclusion. It's helpful to proceed on sectoral lines: education, health, transport, housing, security, everything. But I cannot in one lecture cover all the ground. So I've isolated a few of this. I'm taking on education for a start. So what has been the impact of Nigerian universities on education? See, the trouble is, when I hear people talk, I say, look, are these people aware of this being a multivariate equation? Multivariate will mean you are carrying a basket of blame. You are putting all the blames in the basket of the universities. No! The politicians are doing their own. The parents are doing their own. Everybody doing their own. So you cannot. And that's the analysis I'm going to give you now. When you say that students are in discipline and all that, that some parents will come to the school and beat up the teacher. The parents will organize to have exam papers before this thing, to all manner of things. So parents here, you are blameworthy. Our politicians, our KBACs, you are also blameworthy. Everybody is blameworthy. So do not carry all the basket of blame straight on the door of our universities. So so development education can be seen in the following key areas: policy, access, quality, equity, relevance, effectiveness, and efficiency. In all the areas, Nigerian universities have made impact through production of teachers, school administrators, technical staff, and policy makers. If policy making in education has been successful in Nigeria, a sizable portion of the credit will go to products from Nigerian universities that have been playing policy formulation and implementation roles at the local, state, and federal levels. Since it was established as the highest policy-making organ in education in Nigeria, it's called the National Council on Education. Minister is chair. Commissioners, all of them they're there. Permanent secretaries are there. So, in terms of policy formulation in education, we're taking the education sector now. Not less than 90% of the members of that council are products of the Nigerian university system, not less than 90%. Now, staff of state ministries of education, whose responsibility is to formulate policies, are in more than 95% of the cases graduates from the Nigerian university system. So if you come to the conclusion that the policy is good, it's implementation that is bad, so university will not be, you can't blame us now. You say you want good policies and we produce people for you for policy development. So we egote absolve you. That's a Catholic absolve you. Now, teachers are the critical human resource for delivering the curriculum. The success of the education sector is largely hinged on the quantity and quality of teachers. Since 1948, we did our mathematics. An estimated 22 million teachers have been produced for different levels of the education system, including the universities. This number, we're looking at quantity now. This number is largely sufficient for a respectable teacher-student ratio. But the inability to employ these teachers in the right quantity and properly remunerate them has kept the ratio at an unacceptable level. You see, if any state X, if you say you need 100 teachers and you have 40 teachers, so if you now say teacher-student ratio is warped, it is not that we don't have the remaining 100. It is that the state governments are not willing to employ them. The state governments are willing to take a few state governors, take 1 or 2 or 3 people in the cabinet, travel to Dubai, travel everywhere. And the money to pay teachers, if you aggregate the money for the balance of the teachers, will not be. So it's this thing turned upside down. On its part, the university system is meeting its goal of producing sufficient number of teachers for development in the education sector. However, while quality of teachers produced up to the late 1980s has been lauded, quality has depressed in recent times. The federal government policy on improved remuneration for teachers has a high chance of contributing to improvement in the quality of teachers indirectly. Another key element in the development of the education sector is the curriculum. Before and after the 1979 National Curriculum Conference, no curriculum, that's before and after, till tomorrow, no curriculum in the Nigerian education space has been developed without graduates from the Nigerian university system. The NERDC, which takes responsibility for curriculum development at the basic education level, engages the services or products of Nigerian universities in drafting the curriculum, trial testing, and finalization. At the tertiary education level, the regulatory agencies, NUC, NBT, NCC, all of them, they develop curricula for universities, well, respectively, from the Nigerian university system. As an example, the ongoing curriculum review exercise for the university system, which is near finalization under the able charge of Professor Bedu Sadu, is conducted 100% by products of the Nigerian university system. So such experts are earned either first, second, or third degrees from the Nigerian university system. So how has thank you very much, yes. How has the Nigerian university system, people will just sit down and talk, I'm sorry to use the word, rubbish, just continue to blame us. Not knowing that you can partition the thing to several elements. Yes, we are not saints in the Nigerian university system. We have our strengths, we have our weaknesses, but you do not. Any ill that is bedeviling the society, if you just keep everything on the door of Professor Bamiro. Professor Bamiro, your house, you have to watch out to all these people carrying blames of this to Nigerian university. You better wonder. How
has the Nigerian university contributed to access to basic, post-basic, and higher education levels? I've written quite a few things here, so as not to, but you're going to get a copy of this lecture. By the way, there'll be a test after this lecture. You have to be prepared. So, what about quality? The story of the quality of the education sector. By the way, for education, I've taken the different segments: access, equity, and all of that. I have everything reported here, and I've said it transparently. Where we are good and where we are bad, transparent with data. So I've not come here to say Nigerian universities are the worst or whatever. I've just come here to give you the correct picture. Unlike all these journalists, they just sit somewhere, and all this everybody will just keep abusing us. Make a no take abuse again. Yes. So products from the system as teachers and other professionals have been major drivers of quality. Let me just end education. Let's go to the health sector. Development in the health sector can be broadly partitioned into inputs, notably human resources and facilities. Processes, that is the actual process of delivery of healthcare. Output, outcomes, that's the health, security, or state of awareness of Nigerians. Let's take the input side. The Nigerian university system can be praised, I've used the word lauded, for producing good quality doctors. See, it's when you are your father's farm. That's when you see that, the farm of Professor Chefu, we have not been there, is either the best or the worst. Or the farm of Honorable Commissioner is the best or the worst. But you see, if you do a comparative analysis, if you go and check, look, in 2014, I led a EU contract to visit almost all countries in Africa because the African Union wants to set up the equivalent of NUC for the whole of Africa. It's called the Pan-African Quality Assurance Agency. So that took me around everywhere. So when I engage anybody who will say Nigeria this day, I say, I won't use the word. What I wanted to use is shut up, but I'm not going to use that word shut up. That what data do you have? I visited all of them. North Africa, East Africa, Southern Africa, and I know Nigeria, we do not present the worst case scenario. What people will say is this is the worst. Let all these professors who go out to all the other countries brain drain, when they come back, they will tell us that we are not that bad. So our doctors also normal curve. Some very bad ones on the tail of the sigmoid curve. But what you hear, the small number is the one that everybody will be talking about, the worst. They are not going to look at the middle part of the curve, or even the ones on the right tail. So we are, as of 2018, there were 74,543 registered medical doctors and 4,358 dentists in Nigeria who were in good standing according to MDCN. A total of 24,668 pharmacists were registered with the PCN, and so let me just skip a few things here. Overall, since not less than 90% of the doctors, dentists, and pharmacists received some form of medical training in a Nigerian university, we can assert that the Nigerian university system has risen stoutly to the human resource demand of the sector. Look, there's Prosalio and the MDCN people, in order to maintain quality, they don't just sign you on as a university to be running medicine. You have to ensure that you have the minimum resources to deliver quality medical education. And so the doctors that are coming out of there are doctors who, relative to others everywhere in Africa, we're not so bad. There are some very bad ones, but it's not a scenario where you will say that you throw them out of the door. On the facility side, the good or bad state of our primary, secondary, and tertiary healthcare centers
is not within the ambit of control of the universities. I mean, if you have a primary healthcare in a healthcare center in Aramoke, and you have a doctor there who has been trained by Professor Bamiro in Ibadan, see, the environment is not predisposing to quality medical practice. So you cannot, in good conscience, now be blaming Ibadan. All our tertiary hospitals, you see, when I went to one of the tertiary hospitals, I'm not going to mention the name, I felt very sad because expected to be one of our flagship tertiary institutions. The smallest university in the US, the teaching hospital, is several times better than many that were parading around. Are you going to blame our universities for that? Definitely not. What people are saying, they are blaming our universities for everything. So they are giving us a bad name. They want to hang us, but we're not going to agree. Yeah, consequently, the segment of the outcome of the health sector, the form of the health status of Nigerians related to human resources is largely well addressed. This is not to say that there's no room for improvement in the quality of doctors and other medical personnel produced by Nigerian universities. However, we must be doing something right in view of the crave for Nigerian doctors in other parts of the world. Now let's look at agri sector. That's where my chairman is holding sway. Now, given the low appetite of candidates for courses in agriculture, talking about low appetite, in 2003, President Obasanjo called and said, look, all this money that we're giving to universities of agriculture, Umodike, Makode, Abeokuta, this is not really yielding much. Look at the number of candidates that they have, number of students in agriculture, very paltry. In fact, there was a thinking at that time, let's close them down, let's strengthen the faculties of agriculture in the existing universities. So we're giving that result, and I had to ask former Vice Chancellor of Umudike, who is now Deputy Governor of Abia, Professor Placid Njoku, who was working in my office as Director of Special Projects. Look, let's get some people together. Let's look at data, let's find out whatever. And we did. And we convinced the Federal Executive Council that, look, we can do better. We can improve. We're going to get more students. We're going to make programs very exciting, agribusiness, all of this, all of that. And so they let us off the hook of closure. But what do you have even today? What do you have today? Go check the UTME applications. You find out you have engineering, medicine, all of them. At the bottom is agric and education. So are you now going to blame us? Are you now going to blame the universities for that? So the thing is societal. It goes all the way back. So given the low appetite of candidates for courses in agriculture, Nigerian universities, not through any fault of theirs, are weak in producing agriculturists in the right quantity for the agric and rural development sector. The development in agriculture should lead to food and nutrition security. In the Nigerian context, this enterprise is largely in the hands of smallholding farmers, to which the few agriculturists produced by the Nigerian university system offer an impressive extension service. The greatest impact of Nigerian universities is in research and development. That's in agriculture sector. This has led to the development of new and improved varieties of crops and animals, as well as farming practices. The federal government of the Federal Universities of Agriculture and the faculties of agriculture in conventional universities have been active in agric research and development. I'll tell you what you're going to find in this booklet. I've extracted, because data, I'm not conjectural. I've provided almost half of the booklet you're going to get. Activities of our universities in research, in teaching, community service, everything. I've extracted some, just from federal, state, and private universities. I've extracted. So you're going to see for yourself what the Nigerian university system is doing. So as I move towards the close, challenges to making the cap fit. There are several challenges to making this cap fit the Nigerian university system with the development agenda of the nation. I read out some of this. Policy incoherence and implementation inconsistency, poor quality of entrance into the university system from the secondary level. Many people don't pay emphasis, we don't place emphasis on this, but this is a very important variable. Those people coming into primary school, from primary to secondary schools, are weaker than we used to have in the past. And from secondary schools to the universities, they are weaker still. So the weakness will affect the delivery of our universities. Indeed, there are quite a few of staff, very senior staff in our universities that even to write good this thing. No, don't let me wash that dirty in public now. That's okay. So it's a challenge. So if you have to correct this thing, you have to go all the way back to basic education. Strengthen basic education so that we can have better quality products into our universities as entrance. The others are, let's say, research capacity deficit. A lot of deficit in research capacity. Professor Bamiro, our chair of council, knows this. Professor, our chairman, also, well, he knows it. Research capacity is weakened. So that's a challenge. Infrastructure facilities inadequacies. You know, when I walked into this, when I came into this university, I felt really, really glad. And I like the mother to tell Daddy that its investment is tremendous. It's highly appreciated. So go to many of our universities, you find that they are more or less not up to it. Sorry, I'm going to be going back in history. 2005, we went on one mission. We went to the 2005 group that I went to. We went in the Midwest area. We went to University of Chicago. We went to Northwest. We went to just a number of universities around there. So one of the vice chancellors said, yes, when I get back to Nigeria, just give me some more money, because at that time AUC was subventing the universities from the federal government, you know. So he said, as soon as I get back, see all those buildings, see all those clean this thing, I will put the thing there. So I said, very good. So we worked it, we gave them some more money, and then I said, VC, when do you think I can come to see? Yes, just hold on small. Till tomorrow. Usually when we go all this place, as soon as you get to, you know this expression, as soon as you get to Murtala Mohammed Airport, filled with ideas that you receive from them. As soon as the immigration man puts his hand bam like this, the thing does just come out. So we have gross infrastructural facilities inadequacies, very, very inadequate. You walk into when Professor Akinaso was at Temple University, go to his office or go to any of the buildings there. Water will be there, toilets will be good, everything. Even vice chancellor's toilets, even for many of Nigerian universities Yeah, so we have a lot of inadequacies in our laboratories, but good enough. We have a regulator, the National Universities Commission. If AUC were taken out of the equation, the thing will be something else. So we have huge funding deficits, management and governance inefficiencies, decreasing quality of higher education teachers, instability of academic calendar, poor reading culture. Our students these days, they don't read anything. What you find is they just put some sheets of paper in their jeans pocket. They come to this thing and they're not going to read. What they want to read are posts on Facebook, and that's what they want to read. So you can see I'm flipping through several pages of this. I'm getting towards the end, because all I'm going to be saying here are what you already know. So I end with
Yes, Peter ojú ajá mi sì jẹ́ o. At least he's looking for money because at that point the subvention used to come from the NUC. So when there is a problem within the university will quickly run to England who has been bailing us out at that particular time. He has analyzed the challenges of the Nigerian university and how and why they have not been able to satisfy the needs of the public and the stakeholders that are looking for the best in the Nigerian university system. I listened to one debate yesterday and I was very sad. But this afternoon, with what Professor Okebukola said, I became so happy. It was in the Arise television program yesterday talking about the corruption within the Nigerian university system, and the Nigerian university system corruption is endemic. And I just sat down there and I was looking at this journalist and the man that was answering the question, and I said, oh, does this man really know the quantity of resources that is within the Nigerian university system? What are we talking about corruption in the Nigerian? Yes, there are problems here and there. But what is the quantum of resources that we have within the Nigerian? And then, they were so happy and so elated with the point that Nigerian graduates were not employable. And I said, no, this how can people be saying this? I've been in the Nigerian university system since 1982. And I know I have records of graduates of Nigerian students, Nigerian graduates that were in the industry in the 80s, in the 90s, and now in the 20s. I know the records because I was BBC development and I was taking records of our graduates that were in the industry, that were outside the country, and the way they were performing and contributing to global and national development. So when people just come and say that yes, Nigerian graduates are not employable, and people are so relish, and the Nigerians so public, they so much believe them that each time there is a problem with it, we have told them, what are they producing? They are producing half-baked. Dr. Sally will attest to this. I was in NUC after my VCship. For 3 years I was a visiting professor, and I knew exactly what NUC did when it came to the assurance of quality in the Nigerian university system. I was the chairman of the committee on these universities that are not approved, illegal universities. I was the chairman, and I remembered and I knew how we went around the countries from region to region and how we were able to arrest even some of the proprietors. We arrested them and we made sure that many of those universities were closed down. And so, when people were just talking about the quality of Nigerian graduates, it's something that will be placed within the multilinear regression equation with so many other variables on those other side, and this variable that determines all others. So all those variables, so when you talk within the context of one single variable, and you say Nigerian university is this, is that, is that. Yes. That is the only thing, that is the situation within the Nigerian university system. And the UUC is going to its best with a structured accreditation procedure, with a structured resource assessment procedure, to ensure we are going to get to that level. Nigerian graduates are really highly employable. When you look at the history, the trajectory of development of the Nigerian university, right from 1948, 1960, 1970, 1980s, when we now talk of, when I was reading my speech, I said, I didn't want to say from good to bad and to ugly. All I said was from very good to good and to maybe very fair. That is the way we could assess. But we need to look at the environment within which the Nigerian university system is operating. How come that when you look at the number of Nigerians across the states in the United States, you find that the Nigerian, more than 70% of the Nigerians that are residing in those states acquired first degree. They had first degree. More than 20% of them had second or third degree among all the African member countries in the United States. And yet, we come here to say, denigrate ourselves to say that yes, Nigeria, the quality of Nigerian graduates. I am very happy with the private university, with the progression of the Nigerian Covenant University is coming up. Look at the guest lecturer has told us about the ranking. University of Ibadan, Covenant University. And each time we come to this university, and I see the serenity of the environment. It's a very good, quiet learning environment. Teaching learning environment. I always praise the proprietor, Chief Adojo, for the efforts he has put into this university to nurture it to this point. And we hope that very soon this university will be among the committee of global universities. I thank you for my chairman of the National Research Fund Committee, the Petron National Research Fund Committee, Professor Baniru. I know you are going to do, you have been doing good jobs in our Nigerian university system. This will be an exception. I congratulate you. Thank you very much. Now, it's time for questions and answers. I have told you that the question that was raised in the title was highly agitative. It requires a number of answers. He has provided, I told you, we provide you with a cocktail. You just go there and pick, what do I want in your plate? Yes. So he has provided you with a cocktail of answers to all the questions we have raised and that he also has raised in his lectures. This is the time for us to ask him some of the areas that looks very cloudy to us when it comes to the Nigerian university system, and most specifically the private universities in Nigeria. So the floor is open. Let's start from this. We are not just going to throw it open. Three from this side, three from this side, three from this side, because I know everybody would like to be there. Anybody from this side? Okay, Baba. Oh, Kabiyesi. Thank you very much. Please permit me to stand on the protocol you have established. I just want to make some comments and to ask some questions. Please introduce yourself. My name is Ọba Koforola Oladengo, the Ojomoluda of Ijebu-Owo. I hope you have a recovery for all these questions. Okay. When the lecturer was making his defense, I didn't want him to make any defense because no society can grow beyond its level of competence. The university is part of the Nigerian system. During the political days, we had people like Awolowo, Sardauna, and all the rest of them. We refer to them today as being very good people. The same society have produced the sort of politicians we have now. Without going too much, you can see what I'm driving at. That we are the product of the system. So the university cannot be held responsible for the faults of the country. The armed forces were good in those days. We also have the armed forces as of now. They are good to the extent that the society has made them. So nobody should blame any sector of this country for the problems or to heap all the problems on a particular sector of the country. I would like the lecturer to please educate me on some of these things. The universities have grown to the number 202, according to him. Have we been able to produce enough manpower to keep quality education in all these 202 universities? If not, why? The second point is, I'm a product of the old school. And I knew in those days, to attain a first-class degree in any university, you must be excellent. The rate at which we produce first-class students in the universities these days has something developed to make our brains so good. It gives me some concern. No, please. I'm sorry, I'm not saying it. Can we allow him to finish the subject? Can we finish? Yes, please. So the question is, have people become that brilliant within this space of time that we now have more first-class students coming out of some of the universities? These are areas that we want to be educated on. And the final point is when you pay a lot, I'm not referring to this particular university, but there are some universities where you pay some heavy amount of money to be educated there. What is the rate? Will standards not fall? Because if I pay about $1 million, $2 million to invest on my child, I expect him to pass. Is there standard being compromised in some of these universities? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
not just be brief. There is no sermonizing, please. Just be brief. Yes, yeah.
Thank you very much. I'm still standing on the existing protocols.
Please be brief. Yes.
My name is Oluwadare Attah. In 2019-2020, new graduate. Sir, you listed poor quality of graduates into the university system for the secondary level as one of the challenges to making the cap fit. And I have a burden because I know that one of the cause of this problem is because of the exam malpractice, let me say, that is being experienced in the secondary schools in secondary school reading examinations such as one can make. So I want to ask in the Rashid revitalization plan, if there is any plan to work with secondary schools in tackling this problem, which is producing poor quality entrance into universities. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm still standing on the existing protocol. Thank you very much, sir, for a well-delivered lecture. I am Oluwadare Attah, a member of the governing council of this university. I was so happy when you mentioned foundation. You know, the foundation is all right. There's little or nothing the university can do. I was happy when you mentioned it. This is one thing that has been giving me a lot of concern. When we were in school, you know, every parent wants his or her child to go to Unity School, federal government colleges, and it was only limited that were unable to make it that we look at private secondary schools. But what I've observed in recent time gives me a lot of concern. You have many private secondary schools, you have private primary schools. I'm sorry to use the word mushroom schools around, and you see them, you see in front of the school, government approved. We are looking at the school, we are looking at the standard of the schools. We won't expect government to approve such schools. And if such schools dish out students to the university, there's little or nothing the university lecturers can do to make them what they should be. So, sir, what can you and the likes of yourself do to ensure that the same way you eradicated satellite campuses, the same way you did, what can we do to ensure that such primary schools, such secondary schools are closed down? I recall when I was looking for schools for my children, because my father was the principal, my mother administrator, so I'm an educational school. I looked around, not with structure, but I went in to look at the teachers. Do they have BED? Are they certified teachers who know the methodology of teaching? And that was what took me to our Besta Secondary School, because you were a very close friend of the founder. You were always there where we were, anytime we had the end of year activities. That's the school where my children finished from. And, you know, not all parents look for that. You are graduates, you don't have a job, you know physics, you go into secondary schools to teach. What methodology? You know, so many things needs to be checked. It is when we do all this that we can be sure of the products we are sending into the university. Thank you very much. My question is, what can we do to help put it right? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Protocol. When pastors are preaching in the church, they make references to the Bible, and when the Islamic teachers are okay, I am Dr. Lisa with the intern of the
Special Governor and the Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on Research and Statistics. Yeah, back to my comments, sir. What I observed today attend to the fact that the issue of free flow of information or policy and access to information in this country has to be looked into. When the guest lecturer was speaking, he was backing up the statement with facts that cannot be denied. But here sometimes we allow sentiments. Journalists will talk, sorry to say, politicians will attack themselves without making reference to facts. I'm very happy that the guest lecturer gave us some facts today, but there are some that are still hidden to the general populace. One of them is the fact that the population of our dear country is increasing at a rate that neither the university nor other sector could cope with. If our population is increasing at a rate of 2.9% per annum, it means within the next 25 years our population will double. It is a comment, but the question may come out.
Make your comment and then ask your question.
So I've made my comments. Ask your question. What will the university do if the population is going to double within the next 25 years and we have accumulated graduates, whether you call them employable or not employable, that are already discouraged and they are just under what I will refer to as potential labor force. I stop here, sir. Thank you.
Okay. I think the politicians will also wear their own cap to see how they are going to solve these problems.
Thank you, sir.
Any other fellow?
Yes, all present.
Okay. That's the last one, please.
My name is Dr. Tunde Fajimbola, Department of History and International Relations in Federal University. Employable graduates produced by able universities for unemployable society. This seems to be one of my take-home today. Unemployable society is a society where corruption is endemic. We have leadership that is inefficient. My question is, how can Nigeria solve this problem in face of capitalism, liberalism, and distorted democracy? Thank you.
Okay. Now this side. You go give me first. So please, we'll get to you.
Thank you, sir. Distinguished Professor, thank you for the seminar presentation. And first, my comment is that we thank God that he's a Nigerian, not from Uganda. He's indeed an exemplary leader for Nigeria and academia. My question are in two folds. One is concerning the issue of endowment. So the University Librarians and Dr. Christopher Nkeko. The issue of endowment, the distinguished professor mentioned about it in the course of the lecture, and I know that we need to extrapolate some good models from outside, domesticate them for our own use, and endowment is one critical source of resources or assets that cushions some of the gaps in our financial system in the university. But the illusion that Africans would rather keep their money for posterity rather than endow gives me a lot of concern. And the distinguished lecturer also established a strong correlation between investments in terms of resources and value addition. So in the midst of this, I would expect that the Nigerian society, the African society, the town and gown should aggregate their resources and be able to bring into the university as a source of income. Sir, what are we doing about driving endowment in the Nigerian system, in the African system? That's one. The other one is I injected much more faith in the university system, Nigerian university system. My concern also is I agree 100% with all you said about the quality and the effectiveness of the Nigerian university system. But however, my question is if we remove the satellite campuses or what they call the outreach campuses and ensure there's enough funding, given that no corruption and all that, are we saying we're going to have very solid quality output? I'm tempted to agree, sir, but the rider is we read about academic corruption, even in federal universities that don't have these satellite campuses. They have no respect to any stratum of university, including private. You now see situation where a lecturer is paid and he does not come to class when he ought to come to class, and he try to merge some few weeks of lectures and just deliver some kind of, I don't want to call it half-baked.
Okay. I think
so
the guest lecturer understands you.
Yes, so what do we do when we have that kind of equation, even though it affects the other levels? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Maybe I don't have to use the microphone, but if you give me, I will appreciate. I'm Commander Ibrahim Dauda, and I'm a father to one of the graduating students. So mine is just to say, okay, we've had all the problems that is debilitating education in Nigeria. And coming to this university from when I was bringing my first child, I just had nothing to do but to continue to pray for the owner, Baba Elizade Chief Adeojo. And I want to say, may God bless him and continue to give him good health. Amen. We will need him to live longer. Amen. To continue to provide solution to our problem, because we have problems from what we've had. And if one Nigerian can come out and use his own resources to give us this kind of solution, then we will pray for him and pray for more. God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. I want to thank Professor Peter Okebukola. I'm happy to meet you again. I met you in 1994 when we were in the former Vice Chancellor of LASO organized. Your name, Professor Adi Oluwadare Attah. From where? Director of Academic Planning, Oluwadare University. Okay. I was happy. I enjoyed one week seminar with you, conference at Lausa, Ikeja. We didn't expect anything less. You have stimulated us, and we have solved some of the problems I have about Nigeria. The question is this. I'm happy Dr. Bredin Salim is also here. What was your thinking, Professor Peter Okebukola, while you were the Executive Secretary, concerning private universities and TET fund? We collect TET fund in Nigeria and we spread them over federal universities. Private universities are part of Nigeria.
Thank you very much.
And you have asked your question. Don't give us, please.
You have asked your question.
What are you doing? Spend this money for private universities. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Before I call on the guest lecturer, I thank you, the parents, for the way you have talked. At least you have tried to
private universities, the growth within the private universities. You as a parent, you have been able to bring your child in here and you have seen some of the good things that the private university can. So it is left for most parents to go out and evangelize. Yeah. Now, let me, for the politicians, a single individual established the whole of this place. And we have state government proliferating universities. They have not been able to open, the only one we have established, they have not been able to fund it properly. And then when you see a private university established by an individual, then you wonder, what is the state government doing? Must state fund be responsible for the funding of state universities? It shouldn't be so. Then the politicians, please leave us in the university and let us do what we are supposed to do. I don't understand what is happening in some of the state universities. When the state governors will just decide that this is the equation, we want to get to this answer, and therefore they find a way of dancing around the answer until they get to the final equation, or until they get to the final answer. I wonder if we are going to appoint a vice chancellor, let the process and let the act of the university be carried out. So please, there are issues within the Nigerian university system that the political environment is moving heavily on the performance of the Nigerian university system. Because I said 3 from this, so please. Okay. Organic.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I won't stand on existing protocol. I will adopt it so that others can use it. If anybody in this hall became jealous of me because the lecturer mentioned my name several times, don't be jealous. Our relationship goes back about 40 years. And I can confess here that he taught me science education. Not in the classroom, but by exchanging his papers with me, some even in manuscript form for my comments. And I have not read any paper in science education that is as good as his. And I mean this. It took him to UNESCO, it took him to all parts of the world. So, Professor Kibukola, I cannot mention your name now as many times as you did because I don't have enough time. And the chairman too is another buddy of mine. What is interesting about these two people is that one was executive secretary of the NUC and then went on to chair several university council boards. And my friend over there was VC of FUTA, and then he went on to become chairman of illegal universities. Can you imagine that? Mine is only a brief comment. I wanted to confirm the two things the lecturer wanted me to confirm. One, that the universities he cited in the US have done what he claimed they did. But the second confirmation is that the university is a place to prepare you for the world. It's not a place to teach you to pass an exam. And I will give one or two examples of people who went to the university, got the knowledge they wanted in a year or two and didn't wait to finish, and went on to innovate something huge. You may be thinking now of one person that we all know, Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook. He withdrew from Harvard in his second year and developed Facebook. There are many other examples like that. Bill Gates is another example. But apart from academics, I will cite the case of John McEnroe, a very popular tennis player. He went on the tennis circuit at 18 and was beaten by Jimmy Connors. And he thought he wasn't prepared well enough. He went back to Stanford to develop his intellectual capacity and to learn more lessons about tennis. He became thereafter #1 in the world. So what the university does is to really teach you how to teach yourself when you leave the university. And let me end up with a personal note. I have two kids. One of them read criminal justice. The other one read journalism and public relations. And his professor called him when he was to graduate. If you spend one more year, you have 2 degrees. One in journalism and public relations, the other in advertising and marketing. Both of these guys today are not doing anything related to criminal justice, advertising, or public relations. They are both ICT guys. One is product manager for Comcast, and the other one teaches trainers in the digitization of medical records. They trained themselves after they left the university to become what they are. That's what universities are for. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I'd like to thank Kibukola for a very brilliant presentation. What has been missing since morning is the fact that we are not listening to this erudite man, but a very, very unusual era in Nigeria. This is probably one of the few areas of the country today that can be here without actually looking at what's happening on the right hand side or the left side. What is key to all this, why I was up to raise our voice, will be as follows. Initially, I found it difficult to interpret the topic given to us. And listening to the lecture throughout, I wouldn't reconcile both. But I know what it's about. But 2 issues that are key to me. I happen to have studied in this country and abroad. I am a public sector man, and I've been on this university right from before it was founded. 2 issues. I haven't seen Nigerian universities producing change agents. They are government, they are organized. They are the military, they are organized. They are the private sector, they are organized. But abroad, the opposite is the case. You could be 20 in the class, 2 or 3 of you go up to the arrowhead, and the nation comes to those 3 arrowheads. We don't have that in Nigeria. So the university professors like Professor Kibukola will tell us in his reply, why is that deficient in Nigeria? The other one I grew up to know, right from when I was at Ife, was that there used to be a nexus between the university system and the private sector. It's totally broken now. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, Chairman, sir, and thank you one and all. Appreciate the questions that have come up. On account of limitation of time, I'll just be very brief in my response, and I'll go in the reverse order. Thank you, sir, Professor Oluwadare. I know you say you're not a professor, but you're associating with professors in council. Associate Professor Oluwadare. Yeah, change agents, yes, we produce them. But they are swallowed in the society. They are not given the nursery, the environment for letting them sustain the impetus for their change. It's stifling. You know the story of the sower, where the sower, sowed the seed on a rock. It's the same seed with all the ingredients to grow, to thrive to a giant oak tree. It was on a rock, not, and someplace with thorns. So we have an environment in Nigeria where there are these rocky surfaces and these thorns. So you cannot, you have the brilliant ideas, and then you say you're going to do X, Y, and Z, and then you start doing it. Power is a challenge. Water is a challenge. Security is a challenge. Several things, will occlude your vision. So you are trapped. So until somebody like you, I'm actually going to vote for you when you want to be president of Nigeria. When you become president of Nigeria, I'm sure all of these things will dissolve like mist in the early morning sun. So congratulations in advance, President Oluwadare. Professor Oluwadare, I really thank you, sir. Lifelong learning is what you have underlined, and I think we should all take that way. Professor Daramola DAP Elizade. You see, the private universities benefiting from TED Fund is a battle that is on, and it is a battle that at the end of the day, long or short, we will win. I'm not going to give you a few things relating to the etiology or the origin of that. Commander Ibrahim Dauda, thank you for believing in this University, your first child, the second one, and I endorse or I queue behind you in saying that the founder of this university, could have used this money, like many of them do, build houses all over the place and, enjoy with his money, go on a yacht to Honolulu, Hawaii, and blow the money. So this is a special breed, a far-sighted person. And all we should do is to continue to pray for him for good health and long life. And also to have many more like him in our country. The University of Liberia. Advertise University, thank you, sir. University of Liberia, endowment is important, yes. Like I said, how do we, the African system, Nigerian system, how do you encourage endowment? We can do that. But it's so culturally immersed, it's such a matter that it will take generations of cultural re-engineering. Look, when I go to universities in South Africa, in East Africa, everywhere, you find that the typical African, mind what I've said, I didn't say all, I'm not being absolute, the typical African, like Professor Akinaso, is atypical because he's a good I'm sure he's endowing a lot for Elizabeth University. Confirm that? Yeah. Okay, that is very, very wonderful. The typical African, as I said, I'm repeating myself now, will find it difficult, to say, endow this amount of money for, they say, no. The cultural element, the socio-cultural factors will even impede that to happen. They will say, look, you're in an environment of hunger or poverty. That person will say, okay, look, let me invest in all these my brothers and sisters who will, I'm very, very sure that many of the people sitting in the front row will have almost on a daily basis relations. Who will send a text message, rent is due, my landlord is chasing me away, I'm hungry now, I'm this thing now, all of that. So is that why you will say endowment? Did you know that in the US and most developed places, every cent that the person earns is accounted for. So nobody can come and tell you rubbish. They come and give me this thing. When this light, in Nigeria, they just put light anytime. Light, I don't know. You have to switch on every second. You have to watch everything that you do. So everything is programmed. So it's a socio-cultural problem that I don't have an answer to, by the way. And you did say that I will appear to have faith in the Nigerian system. I'll tell you why I have faith. The reason being, I have, with personally here, we've gone around the whole place. When you get to a conference in any part of Africa or in any part of Europe or North America, and you see some black faces, the only people who will rise up and contribute meaningfully to that conference are Nigerians. They are afraid of us, so I'm telling you, they are really afraid of us, all the other Africans. When we come together, the Kenyans and these Nigerians have come again, But you see, that is the thing. So that's why I have the faith, because I have empirical basis for having that faith. Yes, we have corruption in the Nigerian university system, like His Majesty said, about Kuforola Oladembo. The thing is everywhere. So we are not in an island of our own. So the corruption in the larger society oozes little by little, we are not saints in the place. So that will continue to go on, unfortunately. Dr. Tunde Fajembola, big grammar here. Say, how can Nigeria solve the problem in the face of capitalism and distorted democracy? I want to give an example of my chairman of board, what he used to say. My chairman of board, Alhaji Maitama Sule, Damazani Kano, would tell me, look, Peter, we can't solve, don't worry yourself about all these things. Because Nigeria's problem, I'm sure you know this analogy, it's like somebody with Agbada. The moment you are doing this one, the other one is coming down. The moment you are doing the one coming up, let me do my Agbada. But this other one is coming down. So that's the thing. The distorted democracy, all of those things, to solve all the problems is multi-faceted, multivarious. So, but I know the answer. The answer is, if we go to God in prayers, God will heal the land. But see, God will not listen to prayers of all these sinful people. Simple. We are all sinners, not worthy of His presence. And I tell you something, when the Israelites, when they want to go to battle, they will consult God. And God will tell them, no, it's not going to listen to you except you are purged of your sins. So they will go, they will fast, they will put sackcloth on their bodies, they will put sand, ash, and all of that, pray and all of that. And so God listens mainly to people who are not sinners, like Bishop. I used to tell somebody something that, look, if God had an MRI machine to detect sins, if they bring that machine to this Nigeria or Africa, all those big people say they are general overseer, general everything like that, if they pass them through that MRI machine, none of them will come out from the other end. I think we need to go to God, confess our sins, and be holy, and God will heal us. So all of us, when we finish this thing now, you all go on your knees and pray for forgiveness of all your sins before you come for the reception. You have given us this for reception, have you? Nobody comes in there except it's clear. Okay, that's by way of a joke. The thing is, we'll just continue to do the best we can and pray God to heal the land. Dr. Oluwadare, my good friend, SSA to the governor of Osun State, or State of Osun Research and sentiments. Yeah, you see, we are aware that in another few years, the few years be 2050, our population will double. How are we going to feed them? We are not feeding them now. How are we going to feed when the thing is double? How are we going to transport them? Go to Lagos. How are we going to move people? How are we going to provide shelter for them? How are we going to educate them? And all of that. So what AUC has done under Baba Rashid is to develop a program not done by himself, not done by NUC, but the Nigerian university system. A little while we'll be able to, the minister will be able to publish that. We have documented. Let me give an example. Let's say housing. We plotted a curve of how many houses will the population that we're anticipating need. At the rate we are producing them, how will we get that number of houses? What are the other methodologies, some creative ways of getting the housing? So we have all of those things there. So we are working, that plural pronoun is AUC working with people like Professor Bamiro and others, and of course our own small team to achieve that. So we are working in that direction. And in little while, if I were already concluded most of the different sectorial analysis for 2050, that plan. So it will be out very shortly. Mommy, Mrs. Olajumoke Ajayi, that's the last but one person. I'd like to appreciate you, ma'am, for the candor. You said it all bluntly. Government approved private schools, all manner of things. But I tell you, it's all part of the corruption in the society. When you get to any state capital, they have the Ministry of Education, they have a Directorate of Quality Assurance. What do you think they do there? They are going on inspection. Oh, no problem, inspection. Before they enter the gate, they will give them the envelope. So there's nothing to check. Nothing to check. They will just, so it's all part of the thing. And it's all related. Let me give you a formula that I developed at some point, which I asked my late friend and brother, Professor Oyebidapo Obe, the former Vice Chancellor of University of Lagos, to validate, which is that when poverty increases, honesty decreases. It's an inverse relationship. When poverty increases, honesty decreases. It may not be poverty. Our KBC is a very rich man. Are you, sir? He's a very rich man. It's not actually poverty of the pocket, not necessarily poverty of the pocket, poverty of the mind. I'll give you an example. At one of our board meetings at NUC, there was a professor who was representing the university, and the Director of Finance Administration, after the board meeting, approached me and he said, there is no way I can pay this professor. I said, why? She said, that claim is undefendable. I said, how do you mean? Claim is undefendable. This man was coming from Owerri to Abuja for a meeting. And he wrote there that he spent 4 nights to come to Abuja. And I said, did you come by canoe or come by boat or come by decent? He called me. He said, yes, I beg you. School fees time don't come. He needed to pay school fees. He needed to do all of that. So the true story, sir. True story. So when poverty increases, when you are now a commissioner, not in Osun State like our daddy here, you are now a commissioner. He used to be a professor. No, not professor now. So because you were somebody who just got into office and you were earning maybe like 200,000 naira a month, and you are not poor at that stage. But by the time you get into office, the demand from left and right and all of that will make what you have relative to what you need to be small. That's poverty. And then you'll be looking for ways to bridge that gap. So honesty decreases. When a corner comes to contracts, you think it's inflated, you begin to do all manner of things. So how do you explain a president or head of state of Nigeria that stole almost like, I don't know, maybe $5 billion US? This is a president who is taken care of by the state. He's fed by the state, everything and all of that. I stole that money. So it's poverty of the mind. So all these people of, so my question has not been faulted. When poverty increases, honesty decreases. You become more dishonest to be able to make some more money. And some people, when they now have a house, and you think that the house is fine, they will then look at somebody else's and say, oh, that person has a mansion. Oh, they want to own that kind of mansion. So poverty now sets in by way of what you have and what you then need. So you now begin to cheat, you now begin to do all manner of things. So for these quality assurance people, that's what I think. They want to just make money at all costs. And where is the money safe? As if they are going to chop it in terms of putting the thing physically like spaghetti. So that's my view of that all these schools. I used to be for 4 years in a unity school. I used to be the chairman. It's like they call them schools-based management committees, like the councils of unity schools. I used to be the chair of one of the flagship institutions, that is King's College. 4 years, I was chairman. And I found that, yes, everybody wants to come to send their children or word to King's College, or to Queen's College, and all of that. So we tighten the thing a little bit. So I will go to ensure that quality, just like you said, many people want to bring in there, although the overpopulation is still hitting. What can I do to put it right? I think it's a collective thing. Everybody will have to play their different roles. One is in every corner that you have. Even you, mommy, Mr. Elijah Mokaja, you're also doing yours as a member of council here. You are doing yours. So everybody will have to do their best in contributing to solving this general problem. Last, definitely not the least, Kabisi, your worry is that we have, I'm implying it now, that we have too many universities. I'm just implying that. I'm implying it. We have 202 universities. How do we maintain quality of the products from these universities? I have good news for you. We have the National Universities Commission that is now superlatively vibrant. And that commission has installed very robust quality assurance mechanisms. I mean, if they send a team to Elizabeth University, you see, the hood does not make the monk. The fact that you have good buildings here does not translate to the process. The buildings are some part of the input into the system. You have other inputs like teachers, like quality students, like curriculum, like funding, all of that. And then you have the process how they teach, how the labs are conducted, and all of this. And then you have a product. So with the National Universities Commission is kitting itself better to be able to respond to the some quality challenge that may arise as a consequence of these many universities. Last point is about the preponderance of first-class degrees all over the place. That also gave me some worry. But I have a simple explanation to it. And chairman of council who also attests, as well as some others who left the university system when we're not doing the custody system. When I got to the University of Ibadan in 1970, we didn't have running a 3-year program. We didn't have this course unit anything. So it was the process at that time will not allow you to make first class anyhow. The course unit system, KBC, allows you to do that. The reason being is they are in chunks. You have a course which will run, a 2-year course will run for 15 weeks. You do it and you earn 5 points or you earn 0 or whatever. It's the structure of the delivery system that is making this to happen. And I will not say in good conscience that the first class people are not good. But of course you have instances where many, I didn't say all, many private universities we want to, is that Posadi room? No. We want to entice candidates. So no problem, come to this university first class. So they water down their grading system in a way that will let many more people, students, in first class. So parents will be glad to send their children abroad to such private universities. But I tell you, the NUC is very watchful. Like I said, it got me worried, but I got my mind relaxed when in 2000, maybe 10 or so, my successor in office, Professor Julius Okoje, they established this presidential scholarship scheme. And the way it runs is this: only first class degree holders are eligible to apply from any university. Did you know, sir, that the first outing, it rang a bell, all first class, Ibadan, Ife, ABU, Zaria, all of you, come, BUK, come, private universities, they came. Did you know, sir, that the top 10 were from private universities? Yes. And the following year, so it's not, I'm not going to be too worried. What we should just do is to keep letting the NUC be aware, to keep NUC sensitized about the challenge that people have regarding the preponderance of private university. You mentioned something, sir, also about the link between tuition and quality. Those universities with very steep tuition, ensuring that at the end of it, you can't pay 2 million for a degree in engineering for a year, and they come out in the third class category. No, it's not going to happen. So some people may be tweaking that process. That's what I assume. That's what I think people are speculating. But I'm sure since these matters are coming to the surface, the National Universities Commission will be tackling the problem at the secondary level. Oh yes, you see the graduate. What's the name again? Oh yes, wonderful question. Tied with that of Mrs. Ajayi. See, the catchment for the National Universities Commission is the universities. You have the polytechnics. The polytechnics are handled by another regulatory agency, MBT. The College of Education by another regulatory agency. In other places, you have just one regulatory agency for higher education, like actually most other African countries. So what happened was, a few days ago we had a big event, and we invited the person that I thought was the equivalent of the ES Executive Secretary NUC in Egypt. So I told her that, oh yeah, you are in charge of university. She said no, that she's in charge of quality assurance from primary school to the university. So that makes it easy. So what can the ES of NUC, MBT, and all of this? There's territoriality, kingdom protection. So what it concern, when Babarashi will talk to you back, what concern you? Mind your business over there. So that is the challenge that we have. But until we are able to get a system where quality assurance will start properly, that's what you are saying, properly, from the basic education system all the way down, it will be a challenge. So that said, you have to fast and pray. You, all of us, fast and pray for God to heal the lands. Thank you very much.
We will fast and pray. The chairman's closing remarks now. And after that, I want to give indulgence of the University Registrar to please get set for the vote of thanks. The chairman, sir. Your closing remarks, sir. The Executive Secretary, ably represented, the Chairman of Council, the guest lecturer, and the Vice Chancellor. Let me thank all of us because we have been here, we have listened to the lecture, we have listened to the questions, and we have listened to the answers. All of us cannot be given the opportunity to ask questions. But I believe that from the array of questions and from the answers that we are giving to the questions, most of our agitations must have been met. So I want to thank you. And I want to use this opportunity to again congratulate the guest lecturer for a wonderfully prepared and ably delivered lecture. And I'm sure the world must have learned one lesson or the other about the university system, especially about the Nigerian private university system. So on this note, I want to say and echo what he said, that we should continue to pray that God should forgive us our sins. Because we are all sinners. Whether we want to say, yes, whether it's Babalawo, whether it is, we are all sinners. And we have all sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. And so, what do we need? Is grace, is mercy, is favor. But all those ones can come when we penitently repent and confess our sins. The politicians, the professionals, the government officials, all of us should work in synergy of purpose so that we can get the results that we want for our Nigerian university system. Our Secretary General, the last time I came, we met was at Taraba when we were Vice Chancellor. Thank you for the good work you are doing at the Committee of Vice Chancellor's office. With regards to your staff. So on this note, I'm calling the registrar to give a vote of thanks. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me, on behalf of the Vice Chancellor, Professor Oluwadare Attah, FAS, thank you all for being part of this convening lecture. In particular, I want to thank the representative of the governor of the state of Osun, for being here today. Thank you so much, sir. I must not forget to thank the representative of the Executive Secretary of the National Justice Commission, who is also a member of our Governing Council, Dr. Abiodun Fani. Thank you very much, sir, for coming. And of course, Mr. Odun, the Director of Human Resources, NUC. You are most welcome, sir. Our chairman, just before the procession started, I referred to him as my former boss. But the guest lecturer quickly corrected me. He said, no, he was your boss, he is still your boss, and he will continue to be your boss. Thank you so much, sir, for coming. It was just about a week ago that the Vice Chancellor directed that I should get in touch with you to share this lecture, and you graciously accepted, and today you have come to honor us. Let me also thank the guest lecturer, Professor Peter Kebukola and Erudas Fana. We had wanted this lecture to hold in 2020, but because of the pandemic, we couldn't do it. And when we now decided that we are going to have it today, all I then needed to do was to get in touch with him, and he graciously accepted, and he has come to give a very wonderful lecture. Thank you very much, sir. Well, the last person I'm going to thank is our Pro-Chancellor, and when that happens, you know why I have chosen to thank him last. Now, the Secretary General Association of Vice Chancellors of Nigerian Universities, Professor Yakubu Usufu, thank you very much, sir, for coming. All our members of BOT, we have our Reverend Father here, and that is the retired Bishop of Akure Diocese, Church of Nigeria, Anglican Communion, the Right Reverend Michael Omoduyegbe Ipumoni. Just yesterday, we were speaking, and he decided to collate me as a venerable in the Anglican Communion, and gave me the name Venerable Honorable Admiral. Thank you very much, my Lord Bishop, for that honor. He's a member of our board of trustees, and of course we have Mr. Ademola Adeojo, another member of the board of trustees. Professor Niyi Akinafo is the distinguished member of the board of trustees. Mr. Olakunle Adeojo is a member of council. Mr. Raphael Ayetumi, another member of council. Mr. Bode Adedije. I can see Mrs. Olaniyeti Abimbola, Mrs. Olajumoke Ajayi. And please permit me, although I have not been asked to do it, but I'm going to do it. And I will do it and damn the consequence. But I'm sure I'm not going to be penalized for that. Because when she came in this afternoon, I insisted that she should sit somewhere here. But she said, no, I would like to be quiet. And that is the person who faced the Vice Chancellor. And I'm talking about the wife of our Vice Chancellor, Mrs. Comfort Armand. Thank you very much, ma'am, for honoring us with your presence. Our royal fathers, thank you very much. The Ajobu of Aharomiebo, the regent of Ibuleforo, and the Kabiyesi Ojomo of Ijebu-Owa. Thank you very much for coming. We have a few universities represented here at this lecture. The Vice Chancellor of Samuel Adegboyega University is here, Professor Babatunde Idowu. Where are you, sir? You are most welcome. Professor Adegboye Oluseyi is representing the Vice Chancellor, Taisola University of Education, Ijebu-Ode. And we have a contingent from Crawford University. The Vice Chancellor is here, the Registrar is here, the Bursar is here. You are most welcome. And the reason for that is quite simple. The guest lecturer is the chairman of the Governing Council of that university. The Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic, Professor Ofulun Clifford, Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic, University of Port Harcourt, is also here. You are most welcome here. And of course, we have one of our own who is on loan to Dennis Osadebe University in Asaba, Delta State. The former Deputy Registrar here, Mrs. Genevieve Isioma Obadun. You are most welcome. The representative of the Vice Chancellor of Afe Babalola University is also here. You are most welcome. We have the Registrar, Ajayi Crowther University, Dr. J.U.P. Babatula in Amis. You are most welcome. And of course, we have the representative of the Vice Chancellor of the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, also here in Amis. You are most welcome. Now, on April 24 this year, we had an event in Lagos where we did the faint fort for members of the governing council of this, members of the second governing council of this university. And something very dramatic happened. April 24 fell on the birthday of the wife of our Pro-Chancellor, Mrs. Olayinka Bamiro. Today, history is being repeated.
16th of September is Professor Olufemi Adebisi Bamiro's birthday. It is for this note that we request that we all rise while Professor Bamiro is seated, and we sing the popular birthday song for him. Shall we all rise, please? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. God bless you. May God bless you. May God bless you. May God bless you. May the fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow. And so say all of us, and say all of us, wait, and so say all of us, for he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow. And so say all of us. Thank you very much. Shall we have a seat, please? I've just been told that the Vice Chancellor of Oluwadare University in Ibadan, Professor Adeniyi Olatubosu, is here with us. You are most welcome, sir. And let me also recognize the representative of the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Education, here in Ogun State. You are most welcome. And of course, we have the President of LBMO and Naramoki, Dr. Yemisi Olorunisola. Naramoki is also here, and Nadi Tajudeen Badamoshi. You are most welcome, sir. And I can see Professor, Colin F.A. Arowolo, retired but not tired. You are most welcome, sir. Now, I would like to inform us all that the coronation proper takes place tomorrow at 11 in the morning. Here in the university, when we decide to say an event is going to hold at a particular time, we ensure that that time is kept full. So please, tomorrow is 11 in the morning, and you are all invited to be part of that ceremony. So once again, I want to thank you all for your time, for coming. I want to thank all the principal officers, the bursar, the university librarian, the Dean of Law, the Dean of Big Enterprise Sciences, Dean of Engineering, Dean of Humanity and Management Sciences, that's our Baba, popularly called Fabio. Of course, University Editor, you are most welcome. And let me also recognize a former acting vice chancellor of this university, Professor Theophilus Fadayomi. I saw him just a minute ago. And of course, the Dean of Students who decided not to join the procession today, Dr. Dupe Abolabi. You are most welcome, man. So, on this note, may I invite the Public Relations Officer, Mr. Abiodun Olariwaju. We have to import him from Obafemi Awolowo University, Ife. That is the PRO of OAU, Oba Awolowo University. So, he's here with us today and tomorrow. Mr. Tapadebayo, you are most welcome. And where is Architect Dotun Adaramola? You are also most welcome. Thank you very much. Biodun, over to you, please.
Thank you very much, sir. We have come to the end of today's program, and we give glory to God that the medical doctors and nurses do not have anything to do with any of the members of this congregation. shall we please stand for the university anthem and after that the national anthem. The university anthem there, please. I humbly plead that we keep sending as a procession move. In reverse order, please.